Pressing, right?
Light. And we are online. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Blender Institute Weekly. Today we have a special guest all the way from Switzerland.
Wow. Look.
Hi.
Who are you?
Who are you?
What are you doing here?
I'm watching you guys working. And my name is Olivier. I'm Ryan from Switzerland. And I'm a 3D artist, generalist. And I...
Do you use Blender too?
Yeah, I use Blender too.
Wow, how is that?
And I'm a BC. I'm a certified instructor.
Whoa. And you have your own company.
No, it's...
Okay.
No, people keep believing it's my own company. But
RGB Productions.
No, I work for them.
Which companies?
It's called RGB Product.
Okay.
It's not a very big company, so it's small.
No, it's small.
So why did they give you half the share?
You're
I
asking.
mean, you run the whole thing.
Maybe.
You run the thing. So,
Yeah.
zoom in here. Are they looking?
I don't know. I hope not.
Good. I will email them.
Awesome.
Good. We will start this week on the other side of the table. Manu!
Hello.
And there he is.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. Yeah.
Well,
You're breathing.
okay.
Now we can see
You. It says you.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's good.
You can say thank you to the community for the beer.
Or not.
He's nodding in approval. So, I know I want to release that.
Look at that.
Painting with a double underscore. So, hello, Manu.
Yo. Blu-ray case was the task of Monday.
Oh my gosh.
It,
Oh,
You took a picture of Blu-ray cases, right?
and then enhanced it in 3D.
well, yeah, but it's basically quite simple object, so it's not so hard to make. Yeah, there is the video of the rig thing. And yeah,
Wait.
maybe we will use it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's real blue plastic. What?
Okay.
Oh,
Is it organic or plastic?
Well, digital.
That,
Mhm.
of course.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know
Take it.
what.
Of course.
Yeah.
Jesus. What the hell?
Of course. Best.
Yeah, that was it. And then there is those renders.
Yeah, then there are 3 videos. Well, yeah, 3 videos.
Well, yeah.
So I should
Yeah, whatever. It's just continuing the lighting.
I like the animation.
It is cool.
and then
Why is the sheet moving?
He's talking. He's yelling.
Victor, whatever.
It's like, hey! Hey! What does he say then?
I can't remember. Hey,
Oh,
you.
It's a sheep. How it doesn't
Yeah.
talk.
Ginger balls.
Hey, Ginger.
Oh, no, Mr. Hector. No?
No, that was another one.
Well, it has 3. It has 3 shots in one, and there are the between. So it's.
Wait.
This is a rap video.
Oh,
Yo.
What?
Yo.
no.
And
The
then
lighting is awesome.
Well, yeah, I'm copying the Matthias lights. It's. Yeah,
The animation has to be finished, right?
everything has to be. Yeah.
finish. Like,
In that one? Yeah. It's all good. It's all good there. Yeah. It's other shots we have to worry about.
You can talk about that.
It's all good.
so, somebody wants a 3D print DVD case, by the way.
Amazing.
That would suck. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
how do you make it work? No.
And I suggest you do the same.
I'm just a sheep minding my own business. I suggest you do the same.
See, you could have
Yeah.
The white stuff on the shoes.
this.
Yeah, there seems to be some.
What's the highlights, I think.
He has a problem.
Because no, it's because Mathieu bumped the specular on the entire skin with the eyes, and then of course it's messing up in other places.
So,
Yeah. Well, it's improving the lighting. Nothing else.
so we have now also more green and stuff. It goes more with the
Yeah, it's good we are using more unified settings now. Everybody probably use the same lights, at least. Yeah.
Only took us 5 months.
It's the first version, but the second is probably what will be more final.
It's very good.
Yeah.
With a different light.
Yeah, like with more sun.
But what is the final light?
I think Mathieu wants more like sharp
Like this.
sunlight. Yeah.
It goes with the rest.
And face shots again.
Nice. Yeah.
And was there a third one even? No. Okay. That is
And
good.
then there are 2 videos.
Ah, really?
Yes.
Yeah, those. Okay.
So is that one in motion?
Well, we are
What?
the eye corner.
Yeah, something is happening.
Weird eye corner shift.
You have to
Oh,
do
that.
The fuck?
But maybe it's a different shot?
We don't say the F word.
Aww.
Oh, the ocean is moving.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Is it?
Yeah, and your fog thing. Yeah, the nice fog in the horizon.
Wow, I should render actually. Awesome.
Yeah. It's
Great.
Wake up.
Hello.
Next person. What did Jalti do?
This week.
Just
Surprise.
yeah. I made a lot of running. Frank made
The
running.
updates. You got the update?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah. So just the bottom one. Yeah, it's the most important one.
This?
Yeah, he forgot how to sheep.
Oh, I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
Wait.
I was grabbing Frank's run cycle thing in a shot that was totally not syncing up, and it's like, that's amazing.
We got that shot in the phone.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
you
the
know
tornado
better.
that is
Yeah.
distorting, going through
Yeah.
dimensions.
Oh, it's ripping his limbs.
Yeah, just
Ouch.
yeah. So enough of that.
Alright.
Okay, so maybe do the first one up there, and that one is.
Audio, I guess. Oh yeah, we don't really need much.
I don't know. I can't remember. I fixed something important in it. Yeah. Mathieu wanted him to be way more sad. So like because the version we were using last time, he was kind of really pissed off and grumpy. And when you see it in context with all the other shots, like this is the first time we kind of meet him and we see him and his face. And it just gives that impression of like a really not appealing character that's like consistently angry or grumpy. And, you know, he wanted to tone that down a little bit and feel a little bit more empathy with him. So I made him a bit sadder. So he kind of shifts a little bit. So he does have determination and that slight grumpiness, but he's also just kind of a little pathetic. Yes. And maybe next one.
Next.
Yeah.
This?
Yes, please.
Hey!
Whoa!
Wait!
Wait.
Hey! Mister.
Wait, mister. Okay, next one. I love those dialogues, man.
G is static.
Just go to the latest G. That's fine. G yes. Version 3. Yes, please. Run, you fool. So this is that shot thing where, yeah.
This is the actual shot?
This is the actual shot. And he changed the lens a little bit. It was, so now he is actually smaller in the frame. He used to be slightly bigger, but it's not a huge thing. Yes.
H.
This was trickier than I thought it would be. Yep, H. Yeah. So he's running and doing a lot of running. Yeah. Yeah. And I had to kind of go by frame for the legs, so they wouldn't, from that angle, keep like being placed down at the same angle. So they would like feel they're doing like slide over like arcs. Just so you feel like they're alive and he's kind of frantic. Otherwise, it just felt like he was just stomping straight down. It just looked weird in the camera.
If you look at those African films with the chase animals and helicopters.
Nah. But I imagined it. Yeah. Imagination. Yes, all you need in life and money. Yeah. Okay. So next one.
There is I2 with and without fur.
Oh yeah, let's see it without fur.
Yes.
Ooh. Ah yes, this is the one I've been working on now, and it's like wow. Yeah, and it is a super tricky shot. He's being like kind of sucked up, so he's running and then like, you know, his legs kind of can't keep up anymore and he can't touch the ground. So I was struggling a bit just now before the weekly regarding the ears, because like I make overlap in the beginning where he's running, but then like it's, you know, like it slows down, but it's windy. So are the ears sucking up? Or are they overlapping because he's being sucked up, and are they vibrating? Or so I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to tell without knowing like kind of the way the wind is gonna act on.
There's some reference material of sheep being sucked up.
Yeah, we tried to find it, but we can't. So you know. Yeah. So, it's an anti-gravity to, yeah, even if it's that, then, you know, it still is windy in some direction, right? And the ears follow that in some, yeah, I don't know. So I had to kind of talk to Mathieu what he is kind of imagining for this shot.
If he's sucked, I guess the ears should.
Are they sucking with, or he is sucked so they, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a bit tricky.
The clock was over.
No, when he ran, it kind of flopped out.
I guess
Yeah.
I guess it depends also with the fur?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, is
So-
the fur going to be
I
sucked
would-
with the wind?
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you
Can
know
you
that?
see that?
I don't know. So I think really valid questions because I mean, it's not a matter of like, oh, we got to do it accurately. It's more like, you know, what is Matthew envisioning and what will look the best when it comes to just that camera angle or whatever. Yeah, we can see it with fur also.
If you try other motion than running in the, like if you throw a cat out of a window,
Okay, let me. Yeah.
right? They spread their legs.
Yeah.
I mean, if I would pick you up and put you up while you were running, you would stop running.
No,
You
yeah,
wouldn't run
Mathieu
in the car.
specifically wanted him to kind of
Yeah.
keep going and yeah. And then later there is a shot where later he will become a little bit more tranquil. So there's like a moment when he's being like he's in the
Yeah, of course,
tornado
he can move.
and the camera kind of rotates around him, and that's when he kind of becomes a little bit more calm. And that's I think that's like a couple of shots before he actually gets hit or whatever.
And it moves so fast, you hardly see it anyway.
Yeah. So if you can see it with the fur, it's just you know. So that's what it looks like with the fur. Yeah, it's just way different. And of course, I don't know where the fur is being sucked into or whatever. So I don't really know what's gonna happen. But it's at least a good starting point. And I'm quite happy with the kind of the acting things. He wanted him to kind of look a little bit around him before he gets sucked up. It's kind of because he's now kind of being engulfed in the entire tornado, and the walls of the tornado have come down upon the ground, surrounding us also. So the camera is within that thing. Is there anything else? I don't know.
Animation notes and
Oh yeah, we did one day, which was just constant. Well, you don't have to show that. I think.
I have the PDF of
Yes,
all of them.
Sarah has a PDF of all of them, so that's better. But yeah, we took a day basically where we were going over all the material we've already done. That's been kind of pushed really hastily through a certain deadline, which is good in and of itself because that means like you kind of push yourself to finish a certain amount. But of course, in hindsight, you start seeing that, oh, some of the shots maybe don't sync up or there's inconsistencies. Maybe Frank's ears are like really floppy in one shot, but not in the next one. And those kind of things are kind of like they become really important, especially if it's, if it's something important to the character or to the acting. So everybody just sat down, well, like the animator sat down and we got Francesco also to give notes. So everybody sat down individually and wrote all the notes they could see, just treating the first 6.5 minutes as one animation block. And then I took all those notes and wrote them down in a list and put them in like order with all the shot names and everything, and with the names of each animator and all that stuff. So we have.
You can see it if
well,
you want because I'm next.
yeah,
You can put it already.
yeah.
And
Just wanted to say,
oh, that's the whole doc.
brought some chocolate. I forgot to.
Now we are talking.
So yeah,
Caramel.
get scared because pretty much.
I'll try the caramel.
Okay,
This. Drops.
But that means like making the whole film again.
No, because
No, it
all
doesn't mean
those
that.
are details stuff, but that we see.
Only catch everything again.
Yeah, you might have seen us like with those really long faces towards at the beginning of this week.
Like Frank.
Yeah, like really long and sad.
Yeah, we don't know why.
We don't know why.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And they're,
Boy.
Thought it was
they're
like a-
smiling again. What does that mean then?
That's it.
Huh? They fixed everything.
Well, it's actually really good to see because then it's clear and we have all these details. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get,
that's a gigantic list of stuff that you can see in one page.
and if you want to get quality, of course, maybe, you know, you have to remember some of these are actually the same note given by 2 different people or 3 different people. And that's when it becomes really important, when you see that everybody's noticing something in particular. But, you know, some of these notes are really minuscule and maybe like can be kind of dismissed or just easily taken care of.
Needs to be more sad overall.
That was
Sadness.
not me. Oh yeah, that was the shot of the row pulling. The one that I actually.
Where you see an X is because it's been done.
Yeah.
So the correction has been done. So yeah, those are really like, it looks like a gigantic list, but there is a lot of repetition, and it's all things that are easy to fix for us, but that are absolutely necessary if you want consistency. Yeah,
But
sorry.
you,
If we want, yeah,
you
consistency.
know,
and-
I completely see it. I'm making fun of it.
Okay,
Of course,
okay.
this is important.
Yeah, it's important, and it's
You do.
and it
Also,
was
the-
also good for us to make this list and to have it write it down, and now we know exactly what's wrong, what's not. So it was kind of healthy. It was
Yeah. Yeah.
after that we felt better. We felt better.
We did it.
Well, the animators might be lucky and have time even to do it, because
Well-
they are really ahead of schedule, I think.
Yeah, we think we have time because like we are taking. Well, this week Bjorn. Well, you too. You took already time for that. I took time
Yeah.
for that. Bjorn took time for that. Coming back because we want also to be able to, because that of course put every shot we had already from done to CBB, which made the renderers really sad, of course. But that's why I want to do it really like the faster we can, so we can put final again, and so you can be happy again.
No, it's just
The render team can ignore it. Because
No,
the
I
moment
mean-
you re-render the shot, you automatically get their fixing too.
No magic.
We have,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
the caching has to be redone.
Unless you have to make a new scene.
you do need to do a
Uh,
scene.
For a mouth shape, you don't have to
You
make
need to do
it.
a new scene.
Huh?
Yeah.
Because
Because the hair cache is on top of the animation cache, and the animation cache has a thing.
only for the mouth to do something, and the eye squinting.
No, if it's something like that, it's okay.
No.
But as soon as it's overall body movement, it has to be redone. So we'll see.
Okay, but then they will do the shifts too.
We
Yeah,
have to at some point because
we should choose a day, and you will teach us how to do it, and then we do it, and then
Yeah.
no problem. Okay, and then no problem. So
Okay, Piotr was finished.
you were finished, right?
Yes. Yes.
You have to get your round of applause.
Poor headphone, guys.
Go back. Yeah, continue.
Cool. So continuing with that, so yeah, I came back to some shots that needed corrections, especially well, D5. You can see D5. This one, yes. So basically, yeah, I've been working on continuity and well, all the notes that were here. This shot was not really finished. So worked on continuity between the 2 shots and intentions between Victor. So it's really near final. It needs one little tweak and it's final. So that's one. The other one, it's C3. So you can put the horror one first. So I was working on also on the continuity because it doesn't work. Well, not really, because in the first shot, Frank is going backwards, and in this shot, he's going like up, and it's not the same movement. And this was not done intentionally. It was when Mathieu edited, he put the edit in a different moment of the movement that wasn't the good one. So also you can see that Victor is not moving, and well, I had several notes on that, so I made corrections on that. Basically, so you will see. I also made some corrections on the eyes that had a.
Yes, thank you. I've come a long way for you, Frank.
Still not perfect, but getting there. Getting there.
The breath is down.
Hmm?
The breath is down. Huh?
The breath?
Yeah, the breath is kind of down when he does the breath.
Which? Victor? Yes, he's down.
Yeah,
he's down.
yeah, yeah.
Does it work?
It feels way better.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank
Feels
you.
more natural. Yeah.
Okay, so that was another one.
Good.
And also, I made a new shot, which is. No, F1, that's yours, Pablo. I put it there because I don't know if you have it with the sound.
I don't actually.
So you can show it afterwards. And then, yeah, this one, the new one. That's a really short shot. But yeah, so that's a new shot. It's a really short shot. It's just the close-up of the timer that Andy rigged. Thank you. Because at the end it wasn't done, so Andy helps me rigging the timer, and yeah, just animated this shot quickly. That's it.
Did you hear the new sound recording already?
Well,
Of it?
we looked at the kind of latest edit he had, and he put some of the new recordings in there. I think a lot of them he just kind of like in a hurry put them there, so he hadn't really polished them. So, yeah.
I think he does really good breathing now.
Yeah.
Just subtle little thing, but it makes the sheep becoming really alive.
Yeah.
I think the sync is almost the same.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of problems with it.
Yep. We'll see.
We'll see. He doesn't believe it. Good. But he only has no folder, right?
Maybe does.
I added one for him. It's the latest version of the film. So,
What
we'll
about
show
Bjorn?
the new ending, or are we going to keep that for the
No.
people
No.
to surprise?
Let's move on.
Well,
It'll be on the cloud.
but it's been like months since we've shown the movie.
No, we can stop showing the movie in the weekly. And people have a surprise in 2 months. What? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what about
I
your?
wanted to demo it.
I think he's just going to show next week, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe making it now.
Yeah, well, I missed what you said. There's no beyond.
No, I guess Bjorn will just show next week.
Done.
That's
You skip? Or you have
No,
something?
I've got a budget.
wow.
Yeah, it's just test files.
What
The first one you
attention.
can just open it.
This?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So we did some size comparisons for cache files in order to figure out how small we can make them in order to gain an advantage. So there's like a 40 megabyte very small offset at the very beginning. So for less than 20 frames or so, you might get a bit of overhead, but it's largely linear. So I also made a splicing tool. I think, how did I call it? Slicing?
Slicing.
Slicing. So baking and slicing. Yeah, that's what you do. Yes, very well designed.
Blender, kitchen, oven,
Yeah,
pie.
you have to make an eating operator. So yeah, I don't know if you want to see that. It's not particularly interesting. It just allows you to take a part of the frame range of an Alembic file and cut it out and basically make a smaller cache for just the frames that you want. So you
That's
can-
in Blender itself.
It's an operator in Blender. The code could be extracted. It's very generic code that works on any Alembic file. Really, it has nothing to do with how we store Alembic files. We could make it into a standalone tool or whatever.
Yeah, it's Python.
No, it's C or C++ code. There's nothing particularly Blender specific about it. Yeah, so slicing. Then I worked a bit more on the shape keys. I could demo what I have now, but there's basically the problem with the shape keys for hair is that you always have animation as the basis for the shape keys. So whenever you apply a shape key, it has to work on top of animation, and that is a bit difficult when you have the static shape keys that we use for meshes. So it becomes a bit complicated, and then you have all sorts of other things like the difference between the goal states and the motion. So they're kind of working, but I don't think they're a very good solution for the whole intersection problems that we have. So yesterday I talked to Andy, and we came up with another solution that is making a haircut tool, which allows you to take any kind of object, and whenever the hair intersects with that object, it just gets cut off, which is very simple and should hopefully
Cut off in cycles.
In general, you can. It's a cache
It's a modifier.
modifier, so
Ah,
you can
that's
bake
right.
that to a new cache, and it just
So it cuts
renders
in
as
the
you-
viewport.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a
Even if
viewport and cycles.
Is the entire hair or it's trimmed down? I
It's
guess?
trimmed down where it
Yeah.
cuts with the mesh.
So when you
So you
see
can-
something,
yeah.
you put a little cube in front of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of concern that it might look a bit poppy when you have like the ear and the hair going into the ear, and then it gets cut off, and then it appears again and pops up again. I don't think that's a major issue.
You don't do popping here. You cut it, and that's it.
Well, it might be a problem if there's a really long
to
hair
try,
that's
yeah.
intersecting with something, and then it suddenly got cut off, and then it's not intersecting, and then it's back. But we have to see. I mean, for cases like with the ears, I think it's going to work.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see if it's actually a solution for the vote.
Yeah,
Good. I'm curious to see that work. Yeah.
I could demo it, so it is just
Make a
but
video.
it's particularly
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah?
Yep.
Antonio.
All right.
Zoom in.
So this week, basically, I made a minor tool for the animators, which
Oh, yeah.
do we have Blender here for
We have actually.
It's on the
I just
desktop.
compared before-
the latest one?
Yeah, I just compared.
Mhm.
So. you can
So
base
all right. So basically, I made a tool for the animators, which allows them to clean up empty channels of with unneeded keyframes. I'm going to show it now if Blender decides to open up. Okay, something is wrong here. Waiting. All right. Oh, come on. Okay. All right. So the idea is that you go here, or you go to a graph editor better. All right. And select this and all the bones. All right. So we have this. Come on. Home key, yes. So we have this forest of things, which is lots of keyframes that basically hamper the interface, and to evaluate all these keyframes, you basically need some. It takes a lot of computational power. So
You can unhide also. There's like shitload of other ones.
all right.
Top of it, yeah. There we go.
All right. So often you just insert the keyframe pretty much automatically, mechanically, and you don't think about it, and then you end up with all those keyframes that you have to evaluate. So the animators asked for a clean keyframes tool, which also checked if the channel used the default value, and if it did, then we just remove the channel altogether, and that's what the tool does. So you press it, and now it's much cleaner, and well, we would have to actually test the file to see if it works as before. But since the animators haven't screamed so far, I guess it's fine. And
So what was the difference between?
Yeah, probably I should undo it a couple of times to. All right, so this is full. Let's see how this goes.
Oh,
So
wow.
so there's a
Twice as fast, almost.
yeah. So you unhide and select all and clean them up, and now yeah, you get some yeah, about 30%, I'd say, yeah. Yeah, and before it was.
This is not like anything bad to the animation itself. It's not like the old thing where like it's like taking the curvatures and making them simple. This is just cutting shit that isn't doing anything.
Could it be automatic?
Animators don't want the software to mess up their stuff.
Well, yes, please.
That's the goal.
Would you have an auto clean button?
Auto clean button? Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit.
Dangerous.
That's really dangerous.
I'm personally a little bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because today you worked on because we saw that it changed the handle sometimes
Yeah.
when you clean.
Yeah.
It also was doing that with the clean keyframe.
I know. And
that's also fixed?
I think it's fixed. Yeah, I think it fixed both. Yeah. So basically, it shouldn't touch those two right now. But I don't know. I'm a bit worried about how this tool works, because you'd have to have basically a certain type of handle, and you have to have keyframes either at the same place with the same exact same type. So and the tool does not exactly calculate all those factors into it. It just looks if two keyframes are next to each other. So it's a bit dangerous to use.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't found anything weird, then I guess we can use it. I can make.
In theory, it should work. Because BCAs only work local. You can't have a BCA pointing at something 3 points further.
Yeah, but if you have, for example, a Bezier point which is not smooth enough, and if it's broken, for example, then if you have,
you should not remove it.
Exactly, but the code does not look at how the handles are acting right now. It's just, so it's a bit not so smart. So I would tell you to always check if the animation is the same before using it. It might be a bit tricky. We can improve it, but there are many corner cases, and I don't know if we can catch everything. Okay, so that's one thing, and the other thing that I'm going to show, if everything works. I have to, go to, was it, where do we have the build again?
Yeah.
Blender guest, and it's in Blender CMake release. CBean. All right, so if everything goes fine, and I hope it does, we're going to go up and open up. I hope you allow me to open this.
You can drop that file in the terminal.
You can also
Will
select
it
the
work?
file
Awesome.
and copy it, and it will.
So yeah, the space and -A, and if all works correctly,
of course it will work.
We're going to have this.
No, does it work? What happened?
Yeah.
There. You can share.
And let's share. We have to open the sound first. Sorry, let me share.
Too many things. Don't all talk at the same time.
Okay, let's see.
Go to the music.
And we go back and.
There's no sound here.
There is sound.
So
be careful, the sound is very. This edit, the sound is very irregular.
So it's now. It should be synced. Let's see.
The dialog.
Of course, if it's a high definition movie like this one, I still have to implement some sort of frame skipping.
Where can I go?
But if you
Where can I go? We will pick you up. Don't worry.
And,
just stay here.
And if you, yes, you can scroll. You can.
You will have all the lives you ever lived.
And this is the
Wait, keep playing.
So I think, yeah.
60, Alex. 60 frames per second.
Oh, there's something wrong here now. Yeah. Oh, it's just
faster.
okay. So if it's too fast, So yeah.
And if you can play 30 frames per second, nobody will notice, and everybody will think, oh, that's a nice.
All right.
Awesome.
So it needs some refinement, but yeah, it works slightly. So yeah, at least I hope for basic stuff that animators want.
Explode at some point.
You still haven't. I don't know what it should have stopped now, but
Numpad 5.
Numpad 5. Enter.
This is 35%.
Yeah, for some reason it doesn't work now.
Now it went off sync. Like
Something's wrong, guy. Yeah, I'll check it out. But
It's already awesome.
yeah.
Wow.
Come on. And yep.
For that player.
Mhm.
Yeah, can you?
Does it, because I haven't tested it yet, but does it open when we press Control F?
Yeah.
Awesome. That was just that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's all.
Thank you.
And the next is Francesco.
Francesco.
You're going to demonstrate us the secret square button. There's a button in Blender, nobody knows what it is for, but now you know.
Yeah,
It's to make everything fresh.
but I don't really know what to say about that.
Well, you can say something about it, I think.
What?
I'm not sure I should say something about it.
Oh, come on. The kids are already sleeping.
Yeah.
You can look up the commit message.
Well,
Live.
Beep.
yeah,
Beep.
exactly. But I mean, I don't know.
Can you say anything?
I don't know what I can say. This week I've been working on rendering the film, the render farm, and the render farm here and the render farm in Paris. And we are starting to render shots. We should have been done rendering shots for the teaser already a week ago. And of course, there are things not always going as planned. And we work and try to fix all the problems one by one. Then things start to be more clear, and we are learning where the potential problems are, because every time there are different things. So it takes a while to build up all the solutions for the different types of problems. And I wanted to say one thing that I did that was interesting, but I forget. So, no.
Track?
No.
No.
Blender today?
I don't remember. No. No, nothing.
Post,
Your parents were here?
No, yeah, my family was here, but I don't think anybody cares.
Apple pie.
I don't.
Did you have spaghetti this week?
Yeah,
it's spaghetti.
we did, yeah, but I mean, yeah, mostly babysitting the farm, and yeah, so it's
So we got the trailer next week.
yeah,
Definitely.
the trailer next week. Yes,
Good.
that's the thing. So that's all.
The rest
That's all. Thank you. The worst.
Andrea,
You just
Yeah.
talk. It would be better.
grazie.
Yes.
What did you do?
I don't know. Let's see in my folder what I did.
What did you do? All right.
Okay, I think on Monday
You can watch this.
you can click on the first image.
This.
Yes.
Damn.
I've been appointed to working on the island shot. And I think it's there. And it needs some work, especially with the waves. They're still not 100% perfect. They're either moving too fast or too slow. It's because of the ocean sim modifier. But yeah, it's getting there. And you can also put the timer knob thing in there. Maybe. Yeah, I did a rig, a really amazing rig. I made the knob turn. Yay.
Amazing part is getting
perfectly.
amazing part is getting it to work with Blender.
Well, I added 2 bones to Juan Pablo's rig. Sorry, but I hope it works. Then you can show the threads thing. I started working on the tornado. That means that I had to work on one of the Intel servers. Like I had to SSH into it.
34 gigabytes.
But the tornado shot I'm using right now, I'm working on right now, has a requirement of 32 gigs of memory, and my computer cannot handle that. It just goes to swap and it doesn't render anything.
CPU,
Yeah.
5,600%.
Yeah, so here you can see all the power is being utilized.
Thank you, Intel.
Thank you, Intel. You can see how the thing looks like. It's not in the PNG image there. If you drag it in, it's actually not that spectacular. So yeah, I need a lot of work. That's a shot where the camera pans up and from Frank to the tornado, and the tornado is going down. So I started working on that on Thursday or so. Then it's a couple of videos. You can show the 112A sim5.mov. I did Bjorn finished, like finished from CBB to final the animation of this. So I went straight to simulating it. We have to see how it goes with the farm. And I really want to try out Luca's cutting tool for this, because there are some issues where the hair intersects with one of the ears, but I think it will work beautifully for that. But yeah, we have to look at how this renders on the farm. I think Pablo will tell you more about that, because he's also been working on it. Then you can show 111C. This one. I'm taking credit for something that Pablo invented for this.
Invention.
You did.
Well, okay, so the problem was that this hasn't finished from the farm, so it's flickering. So the problem was that in some cases there were little grass strands going through the branch because the collision wasn't 100% watertight. And we could have re-simulated this a couple of times, but the problem is that it takes one night to calculate the whole sim, and then we have to go back to Blender Master from Gooseberry to do the simulation there, import it into Gooseberry, and pray that it works. So we opted against redoing the simulation and faking it, or actually not removing the grass that is intersecting, but hiding it in the rendering. So we used a bunch of modifiers and some black magic using dynamic paint to hide the grass that the log is touching. And it seems to work quite well.
Hide the grass, animate the
So
It's much more exciting.
no, there's a so if I can explain it. So there's there's 3 instances of array of grass array modifier things there, three objects, and they're instantiated on each of the particles. And the good thing is that it's a modifier, so we actually have that as a derived mesh. So we can put a dynamic paint modifier on top of that and use a proxy mesh that's sort of taking the branch as a dynamic paint brush and painting the vertex colors off the grass. And then we use those vertex colors as attributes and cycles to mask out an alpha transparent material. So wherever the branch touches the grass, it gets transparent. It's a dirty trick to just hide the fact that it's intersecting.
You don't need developers anymore.
Yes, sure.
The modifier stack is pretty awesome for that, and it's brilliant. I mean, it's not 100% perfect. There are still some things, but we just have to adjust the brush size, and then it will probably work. But yeah.
The typical thing people do in Houdini with nodes.
Yeah, with nodes, this would be a bit more, but I mean, it's also just 3 modifiers in a stack. It's not that difficult. Okay, last one is the tornado shot. I just wanted to briefly mention that it got rendered on the farm, so we're gonna see it.
Trailer.
Spoiler, yeah.
So,
So
spoiler.
yeah,
half of the
people are gonna see
right
it
there.
like
You've seen it.
right, but it's gonna be compressed horribly. Okay. Yeah, I think that was my week.
Hello. So, welcome.
Yeah, by the way, I do remember Matteo did something.
You did something
What we posted about press stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
for the. No, he did a bunch of stuff this week, of course.
Yeah, he also lit shots.
He's been lighting shots for the teaser trailer. He's doing a bunch of stuff.
He worked on the clock shot.
Using square samples, for example, a lot of things. So this week was
Hard.
This week was hard. I'm good. I did my first hair sim, and it doesn't look good, but at least it is there. It has a bit of he has some pre-roll at the beginning, but getting that little movement in the ears, it takes some time. So and I did it because we have to start simming now, and we should have started a while ago, but anyway, I also did this shot that I also we did with Andy, but I made the video first and
I just copied. I stole it. Yes.
Stole it from my weekly. We can share. We can see the MD5. It's the same. Then also this shot actually actually it doesn't have the audio, but we don't hear the audio anyway. This is animated by Sarah, and it's also very low quality and everything. And the main reason we do this is to test the workflow we are doing now. Is first the animators have this, they sort of finish the shot as much as they can. Then we render a little low sample preview. Then the animators can see how it reacts with the light and the subdivisions and the hair and everything. And then that goes back to the lighting department to finish it, and then another test and bake. So there we discovered that the thing doesn't move very nice. The light hits it is way too visible actually. The ears also looks like popping out of from the eye there. So a lot of little things that it's nice to get these little things without caches and stuff. It's fast to render. Also, we send it to Paris because we can. So we do it.
Because something works.
Of course, when it works.
The rendering pipeline is awesome.
So then I've been also doing some more lighting for this shot is very nice. It's important to show this kind of stuff because it takes time to render this thing, and sometimes it doesn't look nice, and it's wasted time. So yes, what else? This is another render test shot that came back. How can I do? Hello.
Hello.
That's not supposed to be there. It's just like 3 cuts, and this is like 3-4 shots in one. We are rendering the whole thing because it's easy and fast to render.
The photo bomb.
The photo bomb is not gonna be there. It's like I tweeted even that picture without the depth of field.
That's awesome. You could have it like 1 frame in the phone.
Great. I think with the way caches are working, we might not be accidental. Also the ocean is still because I sent this to farm with the actual animation, but it still hasn't come back. It's also way too bright here because I did the lighting for this bit, and it didn't. I didn't look at the beginning because it's a very long shot. Then I also work in this and getting to avoid painting matte paintings. Doing matte paintings, we just try to come up with this way of blending the ocean modifier and the sky and everything.
Yeah.
Without compositing, doesn't have one node. It's straight from Blender. So insane. And I did a whole lot of web stuff that I wasn't supposed to do, but it's nice, I guess, right, guys? It's useful.
Yeah.
For the farm, for Flamenco, and to see the task and stuff working with Francesco. And that's it.
Okay.
I will applaud myself. Is that loud? Applaud yourself?
What?
Like self-applause? Is that okay?
I always do.
Good.
At home alone. So
Next week we have Matteo back, and we have exciting new guests.
What is that? Is that your
Is it a play?
Exactly the same. That's how you do visual effects. Yeah. Okay, goodbye, Internet. We'll see you next week. What?
The highlight's gonna be on Tuesday because it's holiday on Monday, right? So it's good to say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.